Welcome to week 3 of the 4-week series on how to create a game plan halfway through the year. So last week we talked about in order for you to create a game plan, you have to assess the score. Most men right now are just winging life, especially now in this market. Only the strong will survive. So if you want to get a game plan together, make sure you comment in this video. We're going to send you the other previous videos. We're going to give you a framework to help you create a game plan. Because at the end of the day, you have to prepare yourself. Nothing is going to happen unless you prepare yourself. So week 1, we talked about assessing the score. Preparation is crucial if you want to win. Week 2, we talked about cutting off the noise. Make sure that you eliminate distractions because the enemy doesn't have to destroy you. If he could distract you, he could win. We talked about the framework of creating a dialed-in focus plan, which is find your leaks, own your calendar, cut off the noise, and understand your value. Because the enemy will sabotage your progress if he could distract you. So in this week, we're going to talk about building certainty. So I want to talk about certainty in a little bit because at the end of the day, every single one of you, if you're an entrepreneur, you started with certainty. But somewhere along the line, with all the pressure of you running a business, of all the pressure of managing a family, all the pressure that you have as an entrepreneur, we lose certainty. But it's okay. If you lost certainty right now, it's okay to lose certainty. What is not okay is to stay in that uncertainty. We're all going to go up and down in our business. We're all going to go up and down in life. But you have to rebuild yourself because certainty is the new currency, especially right now in this market. Because the entrepreneur who wins in this market is the one who has the most certainty. Those are the ones who believe in themselves more than other people believe in them. So as we continue in this conversation, I want to rate yourself. What's your level of certainty? Like write down, from 1 to 10. 1, you have no certainty at all, to 10, you have absolute certainty that things are going to work out in your business and your life. Because that's how you measure the certainty. Like, do you know that it's going to work out regardless of the pressure that you have, or do you feel uncertainty? Because see, certainty is not knowing the future. There's so much uncertainty that knowing the future, at the end of the day, nobody knows what's going to happen. But certainty is trusting in yourself that you're going to create it. Trusting in yourself that you're going to figure things out. I go back to my TEDx talk that just launched a couple of weeks ago, and I talked about how every successful entrepreneur is going to go through a tunnel. But some of us, when we go through a tunnel, we have a negative belief that the certainty that we have is only in our business. The certainty that we have is we're only as good as we continue to grow a business. But the reality, that's only part of the equation. Your business is only a part of you. Then you have your health, then you have your family, you have your connection with God. So the moment that you build certainty in every area of your life, you're going to have a strong foundation. Because here's the reality, the world is full of uncertainty. There's uncertainty in the economy, there's uncertainty in the market, there's uncertainty in technology, there's uncertainty in politics. You can't control any of it. You can't control your wife, you can't control your kids, you can't control what happens to them, but you can control your mindset. You can control your habits. You can control your activities, your preparation. Most important, you control your execution. Because at the end of the day, if you want to build certainty, your job is to continue to execute. I see this all the time. The men that I coach, my inner circle members, every single week when we have these conversations, is all about what are the patterns and the triggers that keeps me stuck in being uncertain. Because I've been doing this for the past 10 years. And patterns create or destroy a man. So right now, if you're going through uncertain times, your job is to find a way to rebuild your certainty. And right now, if you're going through good times and everything is working, you have to find a way to anchor the certainty. Because at the end of the day, if you don't have the process and a system to become aware of the pattern that you run, you're always going to be going around in circles. That's what we do here on The Edge. So if you're watching this through YouTube, we have a community of entrepreneurs that we meet every single week. And right now we have a bunch of the guys here in Zoom, and we're going to process this conversation right after we end this video. And we're going to go deeper into what it means to build certainty. But at the end of the day, you're only as good as the people you roll with, the people we hang out with. If you don't have a tribe, if you don't have a group of men that will hold you accountable to a higher standard, you're only depending on your own level of certainty. So at the end, every single one of us, we need community. We need a tribe. So Daniel, could you let Philip Wilson in, please? Because guys, the team here in the back, please. We're doing this live. I can't be doing production and I can't be teaching at the same time. I have full certainty that you guys are good enough to figure this shit out, all right? So at the end of the day, we all have to have a team that supports our vision. But only the leader with absolute certainty knows that he has to lead his people to the next level. Because today we're going to talk about the 5 ways to build certainty. And trust me, I know as an entrepreneur, you're going to get punched in the face. I know what it's like to constantly be going around in circles sometimes, feeling like, man, the world's in your shoulders, feeling that heavy energy that, man, maybe I don't know what to do. So comment right now below in this video if you know what I'm talking about, having the uncertainty of an entrepreneur. And guys who are watching me in Zoom, raise your hand if you know what I'm talking about, having the uncertainty of running a business. Like 99% of the guys who are in the call, they raise their hand because they understand that if you want to succeed in your business, there is uncertainty. Like I talk to young men all the time that want to become entrepreneurs, and I ask them, why do you want to build a business? He says, well, I want to control my time. I want to control my income. I want to control, my future. I said, man, you can't control shit when you're an entrepreneur. There's so much uncertainty. But you could control how you think. You control how you act. And that's where we are going to win. The outside world is full of uncertainty. Your job is to build certainty within yourself to push through. So the first step is stop relying on your feelings. Don't rely on your feelings. Most people want that feeling to be able to do something. They're waiting to feel a certain way to execute. They want to feel motivation. They want to feel like everything is going to work out. But if you rely on your feelings, you're fucked. I'll tell you right now, if you're an entrepreneur watching this, and if you're waiting for that feeling to get up and execute on your business, or you're waiting for that feeling, every single one of us, at the beginning of every relationship, we got that feeling, that butterfly in our stomach, that we feel like, man, that woman that I'm dating, she's hot. I want to conquer her. But after you've been married for 10, 20, 25 years, those butterflies are not going to be there unless you create it. Same thing in your business. Comment below, how many years have you been in business? Guys, comment in the comment section here in the Zoom. I want to see how many years have you been in business. I want to see 10, 31. Keep going. How many years have you been in the business? 13, 26, 32. See, most of the guys that we train and we coach, we are seasoned entrepreneurs. So you know what I'm talking about, man. You don't have the butterfly of going into your office anymore. I remember when I started real estate, man, I couldn't wait to get into the office. I couldn't wait to go into the office and just start making deals. But after a decade of doing it, I had to push myself because that feeling wasn't there anymore. Maybe you're lucky enough that you have that feeling. And some people think that, Raul, man, of course you love what you do because you always, feel like coaching or leading. 99% of the time when I wake up, I don't feel like having the edge. I don't feel like creating content. I don't feel like leading men. That sabotage in my mind constantly is there. But I know that my feelings will betray me. And I have a mantra that says, I'm not my thoughts, my feelings, or my emotions. I am the awareness of my thoughts, feelings, and emotions. So therefore, I am aware that those feelings are going to betray me. So therefore, I need to take action instead of waiting for the feelings. Because certainty is built through action, not emotion. So if you're waiting right now to build certainty in your business, but you feel like, man, I feel like I'm running around in circles. I feel like, man, things are not working. I feel like, take the word feeling out of it and replace it with acting. Are you acting as if things are going to work out? Are you acting like you don't know what you're doing? But I want you to act as if you're going to figure shit out. I want you to act as if you're going to find a way. Because once you start acting like it, once you start showing up, once you start believing, your actions will bring in the feeling back. After being married for 26 years, I'll be honest with you, sometimes I don't feel like going on date nights. My wife will tell you, sometimes we look at each other, man, we should skip date nights. By the end of the day, we know that we have to act as if we are just newlyweds. So then that feeling comes back. Because the action will dictate your feelings, not the other way around. That's how you build certainty. Do something about it. If you suck at marketing, continue to act. Continue to execute until you figure shit out. If you suck at sales, continue to show up. I tell my sales team, I tell right now, Kevin is there. I tell them, at the end of the day, only your actions will dictate your results, not your feelings. Sometimes he gets pissed off at me. He's the first one to tell you, Raul, man, you pissed me off. I said, good. Use that fire, use that energy to fucking execute, to do something. I'm not your enemy. I want him to win. I want my whole team to win. I want my kids to win. I want my wife to win. My kids sometimes piss me off too. But we don't live on those feelings. That's the main thing. If you want to build certainty, you have to know that your feelings will betray you. The second thing is you got to make decisions faster. Every entrepreneur that I know that fails is because they doubt. They doubt on their decisions. They doubt on their service. They doubt. They live on doubt. See, uncertainty feeds on doubt. When you doubt and you have uncertainty, the people around you are going to feel it. And the moment that you operate, the leader doubts and has uncertainty, just a matter of time that your employees feel it. It's a matter of time that your customers feel it. It's a matter of time that you start sabotaging yourself. See, doubt is created when you don't make decisions. And it's not about making the right decision or the wrong decision. We all want to make the right decision. Don't get me wrong. I want to make right decisions all the time. But I know that if I am lukewarm in the middle, if I can't make a decision, eventually I'm feeding uncertainty. So it's all about making faster decisions, because the faster you make a decision, the faster you know that you're in the right path. The faster you execute and you decide, the faster you will know, oh shit, maybe I made a mistake. Okay, maybe this is not the way to do it. Let me just adapt and adjust and change the course. How many times have you sat down on the sidelines, waited, and because you didn't make a decision, life made the decision for you? If you're waiting for life to make a decision for you, you will rely on luck. I say, I don't believe in luck. I believe in blessings. I believe in God guiding me. So in order for me to execute at a higher level, I have to believe that God is going to show me whether I'm in the right path or not. And if you're here watching this, it's because you are in the right path. And I'm going to continue to drill this into my team until they get it. Look at the waiting room, guys. And make sure you bring it in the guys in, because I'm watching everything. and I want to make sure that we deliver to the guys. Every single one of you, when you make a decision, life is going to give you feedback. And the fear that we have is that we're going to make the wrong decision. When we don't decide and life decides for us, you're gambling with that decision. Your job as an entrepreneur is to decide. Decide, get the feedback, and execute again. There's guys in here, Minor Circle members. I mean, David Bell, we talked about making decisions. You decided. You had a big project, but you decided to move forward. You could have decided the other way, but you chose and decided to move forward, and things paid out. Peter Fondini, we're here, and we talked about like deciding. You started a fund, things worked out. If you are undecided, if you work in the sidelines, if you're waiting for life just to happen to you, you're not an entrepreneur. You're not a leader. You're waiting for somebody to give you the certainty that you don't have. When you decide, you start cutting off all the shit that doesn't serve you. When you decide, you cut off all the doubt. And I believe that the enemy sees doubt in your ear because he knows that you are a threat. Your job is to continue to make decisions and adapt and adjust faster. Fail forward. Make decisions, learn from it, and continue to execute. So that takes me to the third one, which is failure is part of the game. Don't be afraid to fail. When you make a decision, you probably are going to fail. You don't want to fail, but you're probably going to fail. But if you don't learn from your failures, you're going to attract more. And the fear of failure will always attract more failure. And if right now you're thinking, man, I fear failure, I'm sorry to tell you, you're never going to succeed. You're never going to make it. Those entrepreneurs that fear failure are the ones who get stuck and they continue to stumble over and over and over again. And again, it's not about being fearless and making stupid decisions. It's about knowing that you are going to fail. You're going to get punched in the face. Your job is to continue to grow and expand. Learn from your failures because that creates experience. Every time I fail, and I fail a lot, I fail sometimes in marketing, I fail on the people that I hire, I fail on the people that I bring in. But that doesn't stop me from having a mission and a vision and having experience. Every failure that I've had in life has brought me to this place of wisdom. Because learning from your failure gives you wisdom. You want to get wise? I always tell young entrepreneurs when they come to me, Raul, what's the biggest insight that you have for young entrepreneurs? That you have to execute and learn. Don't be afraid of failures and get experience. I tell my son, he's 20 years old. Says, he wants to be an entrepreneur. I said, well, get experience. Bring value and test. My intention for entrepreneurs out there is to understand that wisdom is only given to you by experience. The more experience you have, the wiser you become, but only if you learn through your experience. Because certainty feeds on the experience. Certainty feeds on the feedback. So right now, if you're going through something in your business, you have to ask yourself, am I learning from this? Or am I just living on uncertainty? How can I learn from the experience? If you don't like the experience that you're having right now, it's an opportunity for you to learn the patterns and build certainty by changing certain things. It takes me back to my first seminar. I call it a Raul Pays for You experience. I had a bunch of entrepreneurs come into Vegas at the Wynn Hotel. We threw an epic event. And then at the end of the day, I lost money. All right, the second thing, you think that I will learn. No, the second event, I put more money in and lost even more money. It wasn't because the event wasn't great. It was because I didn't have the certainty to sell and close. And my uncertainty cost me hundreds of thousands of dollars. Why? Because I didn't believe in myself. Once I started to believe in on myself, on my product, on my service, man, we've done over 65 bootcamp events. We've done millions of dollars in coaching. Why? Because we believe in what we do. But that only happens through experience. I failed many times until I got to where I am right now. And I'm going to continue to fail until I succeed. But I'm not afraid of failure. I'm learning every single time that I fail to continue to adapt and execute. And now I have wisdom. I now have experience. Number 4 is focus on the base hits. This is the key to building certainty, is to stop chasing the home runs. Stop chasing the big deals. Listen, I'm not telling you not to think big. I'm not telling you not to think, not shoot for the, you have to have that. I called it the pool. You have to have a pool. See, I just went to a Jay-Z concert. He filled out the Yankee Stadium, 40,000 people there, and I was there in the floor looking around like, I want to do this one day. I'm not talking about rapping. I'm not going to rap, all right? I'm going to fill a Madison Square Garden with 10,000 men wearing the Edge shirts. That's my vision. That's the pool. But see, every single day, I'm pushing myself. Every 100 days, I'm pushing myself. So the key here is win the morning and you win the day. This morning, I was meditating. I was looking at the sunrise. And I was asking myself, what must I do for me to fill out the Madison Square Garden? What must I do for me to have that type of impact? I win the morning, I win the day. The daily wins allows me to compound time. It builds my certainty. Why? Because every single time I know that I'm getting 1% closer to becoming the leader, to becoming the man, to becoming the entrepreneur that God has called me to be. But you can't wait for that one day. You can't wait for that one time. Like I was talking to one of the Inner Circle members today, David Bell, and I said, time is not linear for entrepreneurs. Don't focus on your time. It's like time is not linear. Time is exponential. Right now it feels like, man, you're grinding, you're putting in the work, but you never know when you go from 0 to 100 if you focus on the base hits, the compound effect of keeping your word or keeping your consistency, or keeping your commitments. Because certainty is built on consistent action. That's all there is to certainty. Certainty rewards consistent action. Not action like one day, not action once in a while, consistently. What must you consistently do to build your certainty? Or better yet, what are you doing to build your certainty in a consistent basis? Because I guarantee you, every single one of us, we could do a little bit more to build certainty. And the fifth thing that I'll share with you is believing that you're being guided. This is the key of building absolute certainty, that it's not about you. You're being guided. Believing in something bigger than you builds certainty. I've never met a man that there's something big in this world by just thinking that he's the only one who could do it. If you study every single billionaire, they're crazy enough to believe that they're being guided. You could call it ego, you could call it, being, having a certain godlike persona, but I believe that every single one of us is a seed. You are a seed. God is the soil. You are the seed, and therefore, God already has planted in you a belief, a dream, a vision. Your job is to allow God to build the soil so you could grow and create a harvest. At the end of the day, it's not about you. It's what God could do through you. But you must believe that you are growing and expanding. You must have the belief system to build certainty. You can't wait for God to do everything for you. I know a lot of Christians, a lot of entrepreneurs who just pray and meditate and they hope. Hope is not a strategy. Have faith, but back it up with action. Don't wait on feelings. Because you're created for something bigger than yourself. God created you and He planted that seed. But certainty doesn't come from you. It comes from the highest version of yourself. Every single one of you right now that's listening to this, we have limitations. Our current results in our business, in our marriage, in our lives are a direct reflection of our capacity. And our capacity right now is limited. We reached a certain limit. So now in order for us to grow, you have to expand beyond you. But you have to believe that God has planted us. You have to believe that there's something bigger than you. And see, that belief, nobody will give it to you. I can't give it to you. Your parents can give it to you. The church can give it to you. It has to come from you. That's what they call the Holy Spirit. Like it's input on you, that you have to feel it. You have to acknowledge it. But once you find that certainty, nobody could take it away from you. And see, that certainty is what I'm talking about. Behind that absolute certainty that is outside of who you are. It's the highest version of you creating that vision, creating that opportunity for you to step into it. The old version of you has to die in order for you to be reborn again. So let's try to assess this training by asking a couple of questions. What is the plan to create certainty in the middle of chaos? What is your plan? Like, write down, what is your plan? Is it my plan maybe to double down in my actions? Is my plan to create more consistency? What feelings are you relying on? Are you relying on the feelings of motivation? Are you relying on feelings of just hoping that things are going to work out? What's the feeling you're relying on? I'll tell you right now, one of the things that I call myself as I began to dig deep is the feeling that I had that was betraying me is the feeling of believing that I was the only one who could do things. I was the only one who could make things happen. So I had to rely on trusting other people. So what's the feeling that you need to break through, and what decisions do you need to make right now to build certainty? What do I need to do to build certainty? And what can you learn from your failures? What can you learn from your failures? See, the moment that you start looking at these questions, what can you learn from your failures, and then what are the base hits that you need to execute on a consistent basis, these are the questions you need to ask yourself in order for you to start building certainty. What am I doing on a daily basis to build certainty? And the last is, do I feel guided? Do I feel guided? I'll tell you right now, I don't know how I will be able to do what I do if I didn't have a deeper connection with a higher power. if I didn't have a belief that God is bringing me the men that I am called to help, the men that are being called to lead. See, every single day, that's my prayer. God, bring me the men that I'm supposed to help and lead, and take away from my life the people who are no longer adding to your vision. Not my vision, not Raul's plan, God's plan. So my intention for you is, as you build certainty, to rely not just in feelings, but on being guided. If you feel like you're being guided, then your job is to continue to water that seed to expand. If you feel like you've been called for something bigger, your job is to develop yourself, to increase your skills. Your skills will determine your consistency, and your consistency will determine your faith and will determine your results. Because at the end of the day, every single one of you that's watching this, it didn't happen by coincidence. You're here, we have a bunch of guys on the Zoom call that we're going to process this, and this is not a message that all of a sudden like just magically appear. There's a message, I don't know who needs to hear this, but you have been guided. You have been chosen to lead. Your job is to continue to build that certainty inside of you, to fucking go in and stop waiting for your feelings to dictate your actions. Because the moment that you do this, nobody could take that feeling away from you. Own it, accept it, and show up. Because the best is yet to come. If you got value from this content, make sure you comment below. There is a link in the comment section too for our summit, September 25th and 24th and 25th. We're going to have a leadership summit. Make sure you sign up. We're going to have a bunch of other entrepreneurs here that would love to connect with you and help you sharpen your edge. Learn it, live it, experience it. Love life.